Hello, my dear friend. In this life, there are pains that come from external circumstances which we cannot avoid. But there is also a silent, more persistent suffering that we build with our own hands every day, often without even realizing it. The Buddha once gave a profound teaching. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. The truth is, the majority of our unease does not come from what happens to us. It comes from the story our mind tells us about those events. Today, let us sit together and reflect inward to identify 5 signs that show you might be unintentionally hurting yourself. Sign 1. Living in the past or the future. The first and most common sign is that your mind rarely agrees to stay still in the present moment. It acts like a pendulum, swinging ceaselessly between 2 extremes: regret for the past and anxiety about the future. Try to recall how many times you were sitting safely in a quiet room, yet your mind drifted to a shameful memory from 10 years ago. You recalled a clumsy remark, an old failure, and immediately guilt rushed in. Your heart tightened and your mood plummeted, even though in reality, nothing was happening right in front of you. Or perhaps you let your mind project 10 years into the future with thousands of terrible scenarios about illness and loneliness. When you do not live in the present, you are voluntarily offering your peace to ghosts that do not exist. You need to understand that life only happens here and now. Just by taking a deep breath and bringing your mind back to your body, you will see the burden of suffering instantly become lighter. Recognition is the first step to freedom. Sign 2. Resisting reality. The second sign that you are creating your own suffering is the habit of arguing with reality. The phrase constantly on your mind is often, "This shouldn't be happening," or "Why me?" When life does not go as planned, when a perfect plan is shattered by an unexpected incident, or when it rains on the day you want to go for a walk, your first reaction is resistance. You feel disappointed, frustrated, and believe that life is treating you unfairly. But my friend, suffering does not come from the rain or that incident. Suffering comes from the collision between your rigid expectations and the natural flow of life. In Buddhism, this is called clinging and aversion. We cling to what we like and use all our strength to push away what we dislike. That internal struggle exhausts you. Accepting reality does not mean being passive or giving up. Acceptance means you bravely look at things as they are, without judgment, without resistance. When you stop arguing with reality, you save a huge amount of energy to find a solution or simply to find peace right in the midst of adversity. Sign 3. Believing every thought. The third sign is a subtle trap that almost all of us fall into. That is, you absolutely believe in every thought that appears in your head. You need to know that the mind is a talented storyteller, but also full of delusions. It constantly weaves tragic scenarios that are not based on truth. Let's take a simple example. When you meet an acquaintance and they walk past without smiling at you, immediately your mind whispers that surely you did something wrong, or they hate you. You believe that thought and sink into sadness all day. While the truth might simply be that they were deep in thought or didn't see you. If you believe every lie of the mind, you will always live in fear and hurt. Learn to view thoughts as clouds drifting across the sky. Clouds can be black, they can be white, they can come and go, but clouds are not the sky. You are the vast and still sky, while thoughts are just temporary weather phenomena. Do not identify yourself with them. When you know how to observe a thought without believing in it, it loses the power to hurt you. Sign 4. holding on when life asks you to let go. The fourth sign is the cause of the most persistent pains in the human heart. It is clinging to things that are time to leave. We often try to hold on to a relationship that has gone cold, a job that no longer brings joy, or even a glamorous image of ourselves in the past. There is a saying, "You only lose what you cling to." The most painful example is when you expect someone to understand you, to love you in the way you want. And when they cannot respond, you are filled with disappointment. You suffer because you are hugging a hot coal in your hand, but wishing it wouldn't burn you. Life is always moving and changing. When an affinity has ended, trying to hold on is like trying to stop a river from flowing to the sea. Learning to let go is not weakness or giving up. Letting go is a choice of wisdom to set others and yourself free. Only when you open your hand can you receive the new and better things waiting ahead. Sign 5. Expecting life to be easy and fair. And the final sign, a great illusion that makes us always feel dissatisfied, is the expectation that this life must always be easy, fair, and predictable. We often carry a secret contract with life. We think that if we live well, if we strive, then life must return smoothness to us. And when adversity strikes, when illness visits or bad things happen to good people, we feel betrayed. We blame heaven and earth for being unfair. But the Buddha taught very clearly about the truth of suffering and impermanence. Life is inherently a mixture of joy and sorrow, meeting and parting, gain and loss. That is the operating law of the universe, favoring no one. Expecting a life without challenges is like expecting an ocean without waves. When you let go of the naive expectation that everything must always be calm, you will build a solid inner strength. You accept that difficulties are part of the journey of experience, and that very acceptance brings you the freedom to walk calmly through rainy days as well as sunny days. My dear friend, together we have identified 5 ways the mind often uses to create its own suffering. From time traveling, resisting reality, believing in assumptions, clinging to the past, to holding false expectations. Remember, peace is not a place without noise or trouble. Peace is right in the midst of those things, yet your heart remains still. Cultivate mindfulness every day to recognize when you are hurting yourself and gently let go. May you have enough wisdom to see through your mind and enough love to treat yourself gently in all circumstances. Goodbye, and see you again.